My pleasure to introduce the head coach of the Black Knights, Rich Ellerson.
That gets away for the reason that any football game will get away. You turn the ball over against a good football team. You give up big plays on defense. You take some big hits in the penalty game. Against a good football team, don't be surprised the score gets upside down.
So, open up for questions. Go ahead, Ron.
Coach, what in the last 2 weeks did you see that motivated you to start AJ today? And what did you see after the first two possessions that said, "I've changed my mind"?
Well, we made that show. Like I told you going in, we were expected to see both of them. You see, I told you, and the conditions were frankly had it on the edge. We think there's some real upside. Obviously, there's some playmaking ability in AJ, but the thing that in these conditions, Angel's got the big mitts, and he's the guy he's 4 or 5 times this year we've been out there and the ball hasn't touched the ground. And it was that kind of a game. When we were struggling, when AJ was struggling to keep the ball off the ground, that we felt like that was our best chance to hold on to the ball and be patient and make some plays along the way. But we wanted to see if we could tap into that dynamic play that AJ could make, that upside, and minimize the. We made the we changed our mind, if you will, when we saw the conditions and AJ struggling with it. And of course, Angel didn't. He had the ball on the ground too,
And the weather been better then. Had this been sunny and whatever, AJ would have stayed in there longer. You think?
Well, like I say, obviously, if you struggle to hold on to the ball, that'll get you out. That'll get you out of there. But because again, that's the first thing you have to do in a game like this is you have to play without errors, delays, and turnovers. I mean, if you're going to have a chance against a good Navy team like that, you've got to be on the other side of the ledger when it comes to turnovers. And clearly, we were, in the first 2 series, we had the ball on the ground twice.
Go ahead, Ken.
Coach, you moved Jeff Bacon to the Mike linebacker spot today. Defense is playing well until it's 2 long runs by Copeland and Keenan Reynolds in the second quarter.
Well, I thought if you tell me we were going to force that many punts, I'd say we got a great chance in this game. But as you say, big plays on doing a lot of a big body of work. It was a chance to, with our safety situation, we went into that game healthy. But again, we just knew we don't have a lot of depth at the safety position. But with Thomas Well and those guys back, we felt we could leverage what Hayden Pierce does really well, which is run the alley. That was the job description for that position, and we felt like with as much speed and double option as Navy runs, we had to have a better guy or a rangier guy playing that Mike linebacker position, and Jeff had done that and been very successful both against Air Force and Navy a year ago, being productive there. So that was the thought there. We just felt like we could get a little bit more athleticism on the back row there, and because they make you run from side to side.
Go ahead, sir.
Coach, do you feel there's a gap in athleticism that has to be made up before Army can beat Navy?
Well, I think we closed that gap the last 2 years, but clearly that gap is opened back up. We can't. That's not. I think the scores is out of whack as it is because of those things that make you. As I say, will get you in any football game. That's the turnover battle and the big plays. But there's no doubt that this is a better Navy football team than we saw a year ago. I think I said that I think this is the best Navy football team we've seen since I've been here. And we felt like we'd closed the gap the last 2 years. I thought you heard me say that it was a fair fight, absolutely. But this year, you can't say that.
Any other questions for Coach? Go ahead, Sal.
Coach, can you describe locker room after the game and what you told the
Well, just from a football perspective, I said just that, guys. Just if you want to know why the scoreboard looks like that, that'll look like that in any football game. If you're penalized like that, if you give up big plays, if you turn the ball over and get none. I mean, they don't turn the ball over. If you don't, against a good football team, that's going to make it really hard. But more importantly, I told them that this before the game, I told them they paid this price. They've invested so much in this team. They've committed to one another. They're bonded like you can't believe. And when this terrible feeling we have in our stomach diminishes, what'll be left is these bonds that they've forged with one another. And I told them how proud I am to have been a part of their journey, to have been part of what brought them together, helped put their feet on the path that they've chosen. Because I couldn't be prouder of who those guys are, and what they've taken on. So.
Good, sir.
Is the streak and not going to a bowl games, are the players maybe a little tight? It's hard to get them to play?
You know, I think, no, I don't know if it was, I do think we're vulnerable to trying to play out of our shoes and have one of those superhuman efforts, because I think, they knew they were playing a good football team. And there are so many things about this game and this rivalry that can seduce you into trying to be something other than just your best self, trying to go out there and do something heroic. And whenever you do that, it gets away from you. I think the guys were reasonably on guard that. I mean, the guys are, they were competing well and playing. They were going to try and have some fun. And again, we make enough plays along the way defensively to make you think, hey, we can hang in there with these guys, but you got to eliminate those big plays. And offensively, we've got to find a way to, put more plays together without the penalties and turnovers. Say if you tell you're going to lose a turnover battle, was it 3-0?
Two fumbles lost.
2 fumbles lost and an interception, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it against a good football team.
Sir, in the red sweater?
Coach, over the past 5 years, do you think you've done enough to come back and coach next year?
Well, that's not my call, but that's, obviously, I think I can say in the body of work we've made some progress, but I wasn't brought in to make progress. I was brought in to win football games and beat Navy, and I've lost to our rival 5 times. So, we haven't had that conversation, but I'm a football coach.
Kevin?
How hard is it, Rich, in that respect, to think that this could possibly be your last Arbor Navy game? There's a lot of things that need to be done with this program, and I know you put your heart and soul into it.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's hard, but it's not about me. It's about those guys, and that's what I'm sick for right now. How proud I am of that football team. I love that football team. That's a great team, and that's a great senior class, and you can't imagine the feeling that they have for one another, and what they put into that, and what they're committed to. And I want desperately for them to be able to have a better feeling in this today, and that's what's killing me. As I say, I know what the job description was, and it wasn't to get close. It was to get into the end zone, and we got to get in the end zone.
Any other questions for Coach? Go ahead, Kenny.
Coach, you had Larry Dixon back today, but you only got 157 yards. You're the second best rushing team in the country. Why was it so difficult to get the running game going today? Well,
Navy's defense was a big part of it. Like we said, some of the things we do offensively, obviously, both of us know each other a little bit, and they obviously do a good job of defending us. Yeah, that was part of the reason. The reason we'd closed practice is because Larry was going to go out there, and we felt like he could play in that cast, but we had to be careful about what we asked him to do in terms of the reads and the meshes and whatnot. And that was not part of the challenge today. But he was, they can figure that out. They know enough about mesh football to realize if he's got a cast on this hand, they'll be doing certain things one way and other things not the other. And I just didn't want to give them that kind of pre-knowledge. The same thing with Jeff moving to Mike linebacker. Those were the things that I thought. The quarterback thing that was a smokescreen.
Last question. Go ahead, Ron.
Sure.
Coach, first to goal to 4, you ended up holding him with 3. At the time, did you think that could be?
Yes. Yeah, that was getting that stop down there after we allowed that big play, because we were getting some stops. It felt like we would have. Obviously we're going to have to be able to score more points. We're going to have to be able to hold on to the football and be productive. But the fact that we could get them stopped down there, that's like I say, if you told me they were going to punt that many times, how many times they punt? It felt like it was
6.
6.
Yep.
Yeah, for 7. Those guys, you get about 8 possessions a half. Or 8 possessions for a game. You might get 4 a half. So that's and we got a 4th down stop as today. So it's you're doing some good things there, but as I say, the turnovers and the big plays undo you. They run out those big chunks, and it's not like those plays were. They were running the same offense. We were running the same defense. It just they got some guys that they got going. They were able to finish it, and that's hard.
Great. Thank you, Coach.
What happened?
Well, during the first quarter, I hit the fullback pretty hard with my right shoulder. I sprained my AC joint. Went in, took some X-rays. They said that they could shoot me with some numbing medicine and I could come back. And I said, let's try it. And so they shot me up, and then after half, I kind of made a judgment call to come in. And it hurts really bad, but I never would have given up the chance to play with my brothers one last time.
So I saw after the Army alma mater, you walked over and you and Jared, you were walking together, helping Jared a little bit. Can you tell me the emotions after that, after a tough battle?
I'm just really proud that I got the chance to play with these guys, especially Jarrett. To watch Jarrett go through the adversity that he's had, I mean, he really epitomizes what it means to be a captain. And just proud that I got the opportunity to play with all the guys up here and everyone in the locker room.
For any of the players, were you surprised that they went for 2 points with 6 minutes remaining and thought one way or the other?
Not really. They wanted to get it to like an even 7-point score, which makes sense for them, because then we could have gotten like an extra point to win. So, for a coaching call, I could see why they'd do that.
Kevin, go ahead.
Jeff, I just want to ask you, with all the talk of Coach Ellerson's future, what can you say about, wanting him to remain your coach, and what do you think he brings to the table?
Like I said in the interview earlier this week, Coach E really made strides to be more of a player coach, just to better himself as a coach. And like I said, a lot of the losses we took this year, including this game, were because of the players. It wasn't because of the coaching. It wasn't the coaches that we were prepared for the games. Everything was set, good calls. We just didn't execute how we needed to. So by no means do I blame the season on him. I know he's the head coach, so it's like he got to take the blame, but it's not his fault. It's not the coach's fault. Of course, they're not perfect, but as you can see, neither are we. Go ahead, Ken.
Jared, just going to ask you, the defense was playing very well early on, and you had those 2 big plays that Navy made in the second quarter. What made it tough to stop those those plays?
Just like Bacon was saying, basically we're our time at defense, especially against the option, and on those 2 plays, the 2 guys that did mess up, they knew as soon as that play had happened that they had messed up, and they were just killing themselves on the sideline. Really just didn't know. They just want to get back out there and prove themselves. And that's what it comes down to. Like Bacon was saying, we just got to play better as individuals and collectively as a defense and not have those type of errors.
Larry, can you talk about what went into you playing today and what it was like after the play with the cast on today and the result wasn't the way you wanted it to go?
Basically, the decision on me to play was kind of the doctors felt confident in the bone staying in place, and they felt that with the cast after the week of practice that I'd be able to go. And they asked me if they thought I could do it, and I told them, I can walk, I can play. Like, this team's special, and I was never going to miss a chance to play with this team. It doesn't really matter what was wrong with me. Playing out there, I made a couple crucial mistakes. I don't think mine's not to blame, but the arm didn't really affect the way I played. I think I played about the same.
Any other questions for the players? Go ahead, Ron.
Angel, at what point this week did the coach say that AJ was going to start? And what did you think when you when you got back in it today?
During our bye week, we both practiced with the ones, and then the Monday proceeding to this game, he made a decision, and my thing was that I just need to support him and to make sure that I can do everything in my power to help him become a better quarterback.
What about when you finally got into yourself?
My main focus was trying to move the offense and put us in the end zone, and just minimize all the mistakes and trying our best to keep the ball off the ground.
We have a final question from the Red Sweater. We'll get these guys warmed up.
Yeah, you guys are shivering. Cold day. What was going through your head in the third quarter, especially with Angel when you got into the end zone there, brought the lead down to 10? What were you guys thinking?
I know from a defensive standpoint, we was just ready to go back out there and get the offense the ball again and, keep that momentum rolling. It didn't happen that way, but, after they had scored, we knew it was possible for the win, like we had came into the game imagining, and it just didn't happen. We just got to make more plays as a unit, offense and defensively.